Hi, and welcome to this week's family activity. This activity that I have actually goes along with the story I used for story time this week. So if you want to see that, check it out on the Waverly Branch Facebook page and you can see the story. And this recipe was actually at the end of that book. So I hope you try it and enjoy it. You can pick up the 2-page handout at the Monrovia branch, at the Waverly branch, or at the main library. Any of those 3 places. And I realize that this is not a craft, but I think sometimes it's just nice to have something the family can do over and over together, and that you have most of the things at home already to do whatever activity with. And I think the recipe, you will have most of the things at home. Now, this is going to be making the Native American fry bread. And you may or may not have the cornmeal at home. And there are a couple other things you may not have, but I made substitutions at our house for it, and it turned out great. I actually really like this bread. So the first page of the handout is the ingredients and other items you need, like a medium pot, measuring utensils. There goes my dog shaking his collar again. I'm sorry about that. You know, a potato masher, a plate, paper towels, things like that you'll need. And the second page is the actual directions. And under each direction, I put what good things for kids to do in that part of the directions. You know, because like the last thing is you drop the dough into really hot, almost boiling oil. I do not want kids doing that. They can stay back a safe distance and watch, or they can, you know, make the balls or flatten the dough, however you do it. But they should not be putting it in. But they can do things like measure, stir, pour, anything like that. I really encourage you to get them involved in, not only for this recipe, but whenever you're cooking. You never know where America's next greatest chef will come from. Maybe it's your kid. Now, some tips I do have on the directions are you have to get boiling water and then you pour the cornmeal into it. Pour the cornmeal very slowly and stir constantly as you're doing it, because I poured the first part of my cornmeal a little too fast and it went real lumpy. But then I poured it more slowly, the rest of it, and stirred it, and it came out nice and smooth. Also, this recipe makes a ton of fry bread. So you might think about cutting it in half, depending on the size of your family. There are some pictures and video, but when the dough completely rose, it filled the biggest bowl I have. So you might consider that. The recipe calls for raw sugar and for the dough to be cooked in coconut oil. But I did not have raw sugar, so I used regular sugar. And I did not have coconut oil, so we used just regular old vegetable oil. And they turned out great. I enjoyed eating them, and the dogs enjoyed tasting them as well. So those substitutions work out okay. When mixing the dough and adding the flour, it got super, super thick. And in that direction from the book, it suggested using a whisk or a potato masher to get the lumps out. I have a sturdy whisk and it couldn't move through the dough. So a potato masher might work, and I think kids would really like that. That would be fun for them to do. But honestly, I just used my hands and got in there and mixed it up, so I knew how well mixed it was and everything. But if you're going to use hands, remember to oil them first so you don't stick to the dough. And then the last tip or suggestion I have is the recipe says to scoop it up with 2 big spoons and make a golf ball. Let's try that again. Make a golf ball sized ball to just drop in the oil, which is fine, and then you get kind of hush puppy looking things. But if you want, a flatbread to put something on, you can pound it down, or again, treat a rolling pin with oil and then roll it out. And then you can have flatbread. You'll just have to do them one at a time instead of putting multiple ones in the frying pan at a time. So let's go and watch some of the video from us doing this. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.